Good evening. Welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. First things first, let's get it out of the way. The elephant in the room. My apologies for canceling last week's live stream, but my youngest kid was home and we had tons of different plans, and it was a really busy week with her here, and it was fantastic. The one thing that did happen late on Tuesday or maybe Wednesday is her and her friend McKinley, who was here visiting from Colorado. They jumped on the track and had a blast. And I have some video that I posted, a short that was just some footage of them running some cars, and they were having a blast. So apologize for no live stream, but it's all right. Everybody deserved a week off. So, and there are lots of other ones out there. So thanks for joining this week. I really appreciate it. And those of you who have had your money on hat rather than hair gel, you win big tonight, I guess. So, there's a bunch of people in the chat. That's awesome. I appreciate you showing up. Hello to everyone out there. I'll do some call outs here in a minute, but about 45 minutes ago or so, Harry Wise had a live stream and was talking about the land barge proxy, which is next weekend, which is super exciting because I've got a couple of cars finished, ready to go. And that's kind of exciting. So if you have built a car for the proxy race or a few cars for the proxy race, good for you. I will tell you how satisfying it is just to see a car that you built, modeled, painted, messed up the decals, whatever it is. You built one and you sent it in, and that's awesome. Now, I have to thank a handful of people. A big shout out to Danny. Danny Wiley sent us some drivers. So Dusty and I were able to finish off our interiors. And last night during George's live stream, we were so busy working on our cars that we forgot to throw it up on the TV here at the track. So George, sorry about that. But we did get our cars finished. And so George sent me a message earlier and offered to come in and talk about the race. So maybe we'll do that in a little bit. Maybe we'll bring him on if he's around when we jump into that. So, but just to do some shout outs in the chat, we've got John Tucci, we've got John, we've got Dave Slaughter. Thanks for staying up late, brother. Curvy Road, Pete. Thanks for jumping into the chat, bro. Been enjoying Man Alive, it's late. Yeah, sorry, man. I appreciate you, though. I know it's late over there, and I know how hard it is for me to get up early on Sundays to catch your live stream, so I'm always watching it after the fact, but I appreciate you what you're doing, bro. Well done. Great channel. A lot of fun to watch, and you're a great personality, and just you're doing it for all the right reasons. So I appreciate it. Thanks. But thanks for joining in. It means a lot. Jerry, welcome. John, Chris Freder is in the house. Jeff G. Jeff, great cars. They looked fantastic. Well done. Really impressed with your soldering work. Yeah, my soldering work it's pretty rough. But it gets around the track. Craig, good evening. Enjoying tuning up the C8R. Great. Yeah, that's a great car. You're going to love that car. Chris, welcome. George is in the house. Shotgun Dave. Appreciate it. Working from home tomorrow, Pete. Hey, Collection. Good to have you guys. Guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. Hey, Doug Cyberg. Good to have you, man. Mr. Albright, let the party get started. That's right. So, I haven't talked in 2 weeks, so I got a lot of pin-up slot car stuff. I don't know what we'll get into tonight, but we will definitely talk about some slot cars. Hey, Jim. I see that Jim. Hey, Danny. Danny, thanks for sending those out, brother. I really appreciate it. Hey, Monty. Thanks. Who else? We have Mad P is in the house. Hey, Mad P. Hey, Greg. Hey, Jim. Yeah, Jim. We're finalizing some details of our trip. Hopefully, we get to Northern California. I don't know. My wife keeps throwing some wrenches in some things, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'll keep you in the loop. I appreciate it. Hey, B2, good to have you. Bonsai, hey, Robert. Thanks for joining. Guys, man, great crowd tonight. Yeah, and I know you had the week off too, and it was kind of refreshing. Mainly, I just hung out with my kid, and we went to see The Lion King, the musical. It's a week later, and I'm still talking about that show. Oh my gosh, you guys know that I volunteer at the local civic theater. I run sound. I was doing that Saturday night for a show that was going on there. There's another show this weekend. They're doing Into the Woods, and it will be a great show. And so I'm partial. So I guess I wasn't really a theater kid, but I'm a theater adult. Really enjoy what the local civic theater does, and it's important for our community. The arts are important. Creating is important to me personally, and so to get a chance to go see The Lion King, holy cow! If you've ever seen that, it's unbelievable. From a technical standpoint, like anybody who's into tech, lighting, sound, it just blew me away. And it's always been one of my favorite movies. When Jen and I first started dating, I took her nieces and nephews to see it originally, the animated version in the theater. And in that opening scene, I was just blown away. And the same thing happened at the beautiful Ohio Theater in Columbus last week. So if you ever get a chance to see it, even if you're not into musicals, right? The Lion King is just phenomenal. All right, I'll move on to slot cars. But yeah, so it was nice having a week off. But I'll be honest. Hey, Sean, glad you're here. Hey, Steve, glad you're here. Hey, Gina, Chris, hey, Gene. You know, it's just I missed hanging out with you guys. I missed our conversations. So we're back at it tonight. It will be well documented. Hey, Circuit Society, happy Tuesday. Hey, James Tharp, go Reds. That's right. I was actually watching a little bit of the Reds game before I headed to the basement to do the live stream, and last I saw they were up 5-0 in the second. So that's great. Yeah, Robert, don't be afraid to do this car. Like, it really is. I will say that it's an investment. You've got to have a good soldering iron. I proved that in multiple videos, building the Jake Dyke Special originally. And I was torn. I really wanted to build another car. Thanks to Mad P, I have the Maverick body. And I really wanted to rebuild the Jake Dyke Special or build a new chassis and just put this up on the shelf. But I did some tuning on this thing, and I'm going to send it back in for the Showdown. It's got some scars on it. It's not the best modeling. The paint is awful on it, to be honest. But, man, this car, I did some tuning on it, and I think it will be faster. So I went back and watched and recorded somewhere around here what my lap times were with this on Harry's track, and we'll see if it makes some improvement this time. I wouldn't send it in if I didn't think I'd improved it a little bit. But that car will be headed to the Showdown for the 1/32 scale. So, Robert, yes, for the next time, which will be in January, build a car. Build a car. And I'm watching all the fun happen with this proxy race. And last year I talked about doing a proxy race, and then a bunch of people talked me out of it. They're like, oh, it's rules and it's all these things, and people send you cars and you got to send them back, and it's an expense. But you know what? I think I like how Harry and George and Dave, how they run this proxy for Home Racing World, and they keep it simple. I had a great conversation with Harry just before I went live. I had asked a question in his live stream about how much float does it really need, and he explained just that they would make some adjustments on every car that come in to give them the best chance of getting around the track. So if they've got if that's going to be the case, then I might tighten up those body screws just for shipping, knowing that George or Dave or Harry is probably going to do some adjusting to those cars and go through them to make sure that they survived the mail. So thanks, Harry. Thanks, guys. That was just good to know. And that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about tonight is Dusty and I finished our cars. I've got them right here. We're going to go over them before I throw them in a box, and they get shipped out in the mail tomorrow. So, hey, no drama. Welcome. But we got to see Jeff G's cars. Man, those look great. We got to see Danny's car. His looks fantastic. Hey, Valentine, 1983, Elmer. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hey, Gary, good to have you. That's right. Truck fans. Yeah, I always love to hear that. Hey, Alan. Good to have you, Alan. Hope you're doing well, man. I miss racing with you. It'll be race season soon. Big group, yeah. I don't know how many we have. Oh yeah, we do have a big group tonight. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thanks, Slaughter. Slaughter has obtained quite a collection. His collection is growing. He keeps growing in subscribers. His wife keeps gifting him cars. He just needs to get paint jobs done on some of those gifted cars. John, still healing from that great snipe drama. Hey, now I don't know if anybody watches TNT's channel, but on Facebook Tim's been posting pictures of he's building a wood track in his basement, and or I don't know if it's your basement or not, but your slot room, and it's starting to come together. It's been a long process for you, but thanks for the updates, man. It's looking good. It's going to be a fun layout. So hope you enjoy it. Hey, Tad, welcome. Thanks for coming, man. Yeah, thanks, guys. We'll I'll give you a close-up look. Hey, Daryl. What's going on, Daryl? Hope you're doing well, man. Circuit Society. I was a theater kid. Yeah, well, nothing wrong with that. Turnberry Raceway, howdy. Hey, Devil Dog. I've got so much roast coffee, I could probably start your own coffee shop. Oh, man. He's got some exciting things happening at Roast, too. I sent him a text earlier. Let's see. Harry, thanks, man. I really appreciate the texts. It means a lot. I always I like to be prepared. If you haven't figured that out, I ask lots of questions, mainly because I don't want to send you something that's not good. Monty, I have not switched out from Carrera Digital. I am still running Carrera Digital. I'm actually running 2 different Carrera Digital tracks. I have in this other room, I have my test oval that is a Carrera Digital. And then I have this track that is a digital that I'm using an axle box to convert from 4 lanes digital to 4 lanes analog. So still digital, Monty. Still digital. Hey, Jim. Good to have you. So let's dig in. I was trying to get through all these welcomes, but hey, Nick, thanks for joining. Hope everybody's well. Pretty soon I'm going to break out of my Carrera Scalectric box and modify something else to run on my D132 setup. I prefer accurate models to outright performance. Where should I start? Circuit Society. Okay, so what you're telling me is you like detail in your cars, right? We make a joke around here about that I have a fly problem. Fly cars are a little tough to tune, but if you've got some tuning experience, you can make them run really well. But their detail is fantastic. The problem is everybody's catching on to their detail, and their prices are really starting to skyrocket a little bit. So if you're looking for great detail in a solid slot car, that's probably a good place to go. Those top performers from an analog standpoint, the NSRs, the Thunder slots, Revo slots, the Slottits. I would say from a detail standpoint, Slottit probably is the top of that list. Thunder slot, NSR, Revo slot are probably race cars first, and then models second. I don't know if that's a fair statement. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the chat. But I just feel like they will compromise just a little bit on the detail for performance. And I'm okay with that. If, as people say, I don't count the rivets on my models. But for these scratch build cars, that's been the beauty of those, is you can kind of get detailed in the model, and you can jump in as deep as you want in the modeling and make it as detailed as you want. So, but that's probably where I would start Circuit Society. If you are Carrera and Scalectric right now, I think picking up a Slottit would be great. Picking up a fly car would be great. The MR slot cars have a lot of great detail. I'm looking at my collection over here, but these latest NSRs, man, they're not exactly like the original cars, the 1-to-1s, but they're so close, and their performance is so good that I wouldn't get too worried about that. Tim, who's helping you with your wood track? It's coming along great. Hey, Alan, can't wait to race again. We have a track in Miamisburg, Wood Oval, run Legends and Parma Sprints every Friday night. Oh, here we go, Alan. I have to get my Legends car out and get it tuned back up. We will be semi-live, some live and some standard videos. So, Harry, your schedule, you guys kind of start on Friday night with some preview stuff, and then you pretty much race all day Saturday, I think, for the proxy, right? And with all the cars that you've got coming, it's going to take some time to get through those cars. So it will be fun. So I'm sure you'll have a lot of people tuned in when you are live. Okay, Tim Bostic, Wild Bill Bostic is helping you with your track. That's awesome. Gary says, "Hey Marty, I saw your new soldering set. Made me buy one too." Gary, I apologize, but I think you'll be happy. But I will just go ahead and tell you, if you're soldering a chassis, just crank it all the way up. It seemed to work the best for me, and my brother has one just like it. Take it all the way up a little past 800, and you'll be fine. Hey, John Train. Yeah, Dusty likes his. Curvy Road. To anyone new to the chat, don't forget to put a Q in front of your question so Marty sees it. Thanks, Kirby. Appreciate it. Monty, it will be a good one. He's a master track builder. Yeah, Tim's track is looking pretty good. It's given me the itch to build a wood track again. I go through cycles. Harry, I need a bit of warning for a Showdown live so I can get my barbecue hot and join in from here. That's great. Hey, Robert, finally made it when you're on live. Very good. Robert, glad you're here. Steve, brother, we haven't talked in a couple weeks. I miss you, man. I hope you're doing well. We need to get together and race some slot cars soon. Yep, slot cars never went away. There's just a lot of new people like me in them, into slot cars now. So, Curvy, Axle Box looks to be an awesome setup. Talk with Alex. Yeah, Curvy, I hope it's okay. Alex sent me a message and asked for your contact information. And I know we had exchanged emails a long time ago. And so I hope it's okay that I passed that on to him. Glad you got a chance to talk to him. You will be very happy with the Ultra 4. I have some videos out there. If you need any help with it, just send me an email. I can walk you through anything. But I think with looks of your layout, you won't have any issues. Super easy to install that box. And for the price, it's fantastic. Alex did a great job. Yeah, Dave, after I said that, I probably wanted to backtrack a bit, because I've been really pleased with Revo slots, with their detail. I mean, when you look at this car, my Datsun, focus, maybe. Focus. It's not going to focus. It's because I told it to focus on my eyes. All right. This car right here, great detail, runs fantastic. I love putting this car on the track, but they've got the tailpipe out the back. It has great detail. So I would agree. Revo Slot have really stepped up the detail in their build quality too. They're great cars. Harry just did videos on the F40s, and that was a great tuning video, and just like what you should do to get a car ready to put on the track, to make it very, very good and enjoyable drive. So yeah, Dave, you're right. I retract my statement. Yeah, Circuit Society. Yeah, man, that's why we're here. Just put the question in the chat. You're a home racer, and so you don't need top performance. So here's my take on that. You're a home racer. I mean, you don't have to have top performance, but I think that to enjoy a car to its fullest, spending just a little bit of time getting the tuning done on it, just the little things, just the basics. I always talk about in my videos baseline tuning, and I hear other people say the same thing, that they kind of run a car through their baseline tuning. They true the tires, or they lube and they adjust the chassis, the body float, and all the things that are the basics, and then put it on the track. And I think that you set yourself up to really enjoy the car how it's meant to be enjoyed. And so, I jokingly have my Ninko. I love to hate this car. Man, it won't focus. I love to hate this car. It's so loud. It doesn't perform great. But when I run against the fly cars, it does okay. But it's super loud, and I am a fan of quiet and smooth. So I really work hard to build a car that is quiet and smooth. I love the looks of it, but it just doesn't run great. I get a lot of people that give me a hard time about that. But I wouldn't ever put it on the track if I at least hadn't gone through it and tried to make it run better, because I can drive it now. It does perform okay, and I maximize the enjoyment out of that car. This is another car. This is a fly car, and this car, I've invested some time and energy in tuning, and it is a blast to drive. Like I love putting this on the track, and I get the most satisfaction of running this thing because I know that it's performing at its peak potential. And so I think you don't have to demand like top performance out of your cars, but just a little bit of tuning goes a long way, and it really helps with the drivability of a car. I mean, if you have a car that won't stay in the slot, there's nothing worse. I mean, even if you are really, a good driver and the car, there are people who are really good drivers in their cars that just won't stay in the slot, right? So I think that's important. So that's just my 2 cents. Yeah, eye candy inside and out, the Revo slots. Yeah, I really. So I'll tell a story about my daughter Caroline. I put them in Group C cars to start. So slotted Group C cars perform great on this track. I've got all mine tuned. They run 5.3s, 5.4s on this track. And they stay in the slot really well. And I've got slot invasion guides on all of them, and they run really well. So I put Caroline and McKinley, and I posted just a short about it. I put them in those Group C cars first. Then, after about an hour of racing, I said, "You want to try a different car?" And so I threw all my Revo slots out, which isn't a gigantic collection. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 or 6 Revo slots. But I put this out, and Caroline immediately grabbed this car, put it on the track, and then she didn't want to give it up. She loved it, and she loved the way it looked, but she also loved the way it drove. And it was an easy driver for her. And so she was running 5.1s, 5.2s with this car on my track, which is really, really good Revo slot times, just because she just felt super comfortable with it. So you can't go wrong with the Revo slots. So Greg got his Axle Box Ultra 4. That's awesome. Yeah, Greg, it's fantastic. I'm not going to need a new shelf for my fly collection. I'm good. I really don't need any. Anyone buy a Jordan for $800? No, I did not buy a Jordan for $800. Hey, Slot Car League of Champions, welcome. Daryl, always trying to hook me up with those fly cars. John, all right. Slot R does a fine job of holding down the Great Britain division of the International Association of Slot Car Enablers. That's right. Too funny. Hey, no drama. Good to see you tonight. Thanks for being here. Alan, you got one too. You soldered 850. Yeah, that's where I'm at, 850. And it does a great job there. Pushing the trifecta. Hey, what's up? Good to have you. Thanks for joining tonight, Joe. Hopefully things are going well your way. Man, I'm struggling to keep up with the chat. I'm right there. Let's see. Curvy asked, Greg, did you happen to also get the additional stop buttons? I think the chaos buttons or the track call buttons are very convenient, and are probably worth the additional, especially if you race a lot, not by yourself, but with a small group, and you don't have everybody's, this is a 4-lane track. And so if I got 4 people here, all 4 people are on the track. We don't have marshals. And so the call button really comes in handy. Yeah, it's probably a good add. Let's see. How does it compare to the Omni slot box? It does the exact same thing. I think that the Omni slot box, Jim Cunningham builds a beautiful box, top of the notch, top of the line stuff inside and out. It is definitely like the Cadillac. And I think that if that's what you want, go get that. But it does the same thing. Except for the Omni slot box is true analog. just like the Axle Box Ultra 4 is true analog. Now the regular Axle Box is not true analog. It is lane chipping. So make sure that you know what you're after. But that's really the difference. But Jim has created a box now that's an emulator that's basically lane chipping. So everybody has their own version of it. And if you don't want to spend the money, I've got a video out there that tells you how to do it. And Slot R has a great video out there to tell you how to do it. Let's see. What else do I have? Let's before we get too deep into the woods, let's talk about the cars that I'm sending. Yeah, that's a great question for George. Based on his videos, I think he's really enjoying his wood track. So this car is the Jake Dyke Special. It's 1/32 scale Camaro 68, I think. And I built it for the last Showdown. And I've done some tuning, some upgrades. I worked on the tires a little bit, did some more truing to make sure everything was good. Has a good body float, but I changed the motor out, and I took the 18K and went with the 17.5, and the torque really helped this car out. Not that it was a bad runner before, but I think it gave it a little extra, and it's turned out okay. So we're going to ship that off and put it in the Showdown. Harry, I hope that's okay. I'm going to show off my brother's build. So my brother, he built a 61 Starliner. And this is the Fred Lorenzen. But the important thing to see on this car is, like, decals-wise, it looks fantastic. He did a great job. And the chassis, he did a great job on the chassis. That was his first scratch build, so I'm super proud of my brother for building the car. But our dad's name is Ron Ford, and this car was sponsored by Ron's Ford Sales in Marietta, Georgia, I believe. And it looks great. My brother did a great job. And we finished the interior. Man, why will that not focus? Focus. Yeah, it's because of the way my camera's set up. Let's switch to to this. Phone. Here we go. There we go. And so let's look at the details of this. Let's move this. So we got Ron Ford Sales, Marietta. Number 28, Fred Lorenzen. Dusty got his interior done. He's got the driver. Nice detail on the driver. Face painted, goggles painted, helmet. Got his driver's suit, his gloves. And then we look at the chassis. It was the kit, and it does a nice job, and it's nice and smooth. It runs really well. We did add some weight. Felt like it was a little on the light side, and with these base chassis, there's not a lot of places to put the weight. We wanted to put the weight near the motor. Hopefully that's okay. It still meets the height requirements. So there's Dusty's car, ready for the race. So yeah, it's a good looking car. I'm catching up. Taking the magnets out of everything and seeing how these cars also drive so differently compared to one another is like real world tuning. Love it. Yeah, that's the fun part. Hey, Phil, welcome, man. Glad you're here. Daryl likes his cars loud, so he knows what they are doing. When they get quiet, I have to look where it wrecked at. Daryl, I've driven your cars. They're smooth and quiet. OmniSlot is a different way to run analog. Axle Tech used digital chips to program their lane. Right, Joe, except for the fact that the axle, the Ultra 4, does true analog. So it's not a lane chipping, it's true analog. Yep, Greg says that. Yep, no lane chipping on the Ultra 4. Gary's waiting on the Corvette. So there's Dusty's car, all ready for the race. Man, I need a new mat. This mat is getting filthy and dirty. And I've got my car finished. Mine is a 63, right? 63? Yeah, 63 Ford Galaxy. And it is a fantasy livery. And let's see here, John Albright, the great Ninkobi experience. Hop on board. If you can tune it, you can tune almost anything. I believe that. John, I think you're right. So I went gray, and it made the decals a little darker than I wanted, but in the light, the car looks pretty good. I followed Tad's instructions, and I used floor polish as my clear coat because I was afraid of hitting it with any kind of clear coat and causing the decals to come up. And so Valerie Ford is a Ford dealership in Waverly, Ohio. It's where my grandpa always bought all of his cars, and he was friends with the family, and everybody knew him there. And we would walk into the Ford dealership, and it was like Norm walking into Cheers. And I always loved going to the car dealership with my grandpa. Although he was a negotiator, oh my gosh, he was always working deals on cars. But again, thanks, Danny, for the driver. And then I've always liked that home of the fast Fords, so I added that here. And then my driver, I had a list of people that since it was a fantasy livery, that I was going to consider, but I thought it'd be fun to put my our Uncle Andy. He was the uncle that got us, Dusty and I, into racing RC cars when we were kids, and so as a tribute to him, I thought, and he's a big Ford guy, so since it was a Ford, Andy's name was on it. My cousin Brad cut a joke on Facebook this morning, which I thought was great. Our family, we are known for our noses. And he said, hey, the nose of that driver is not sticking far enough out of the helmet, which is pretty funny. 19 is my favorite number. And of course, couldn't be a Two Lines car without our official coffee sponsor, Roast Coffee. My chassis, I'm going to throw a question out for those who are watching. I decided to use some brass, which was new this time. That was kind of a challenge, but I got it to work. It's not perfect. It actually is not a great chassis. I feel like the chassis, it has some float, so I feel like the body floats really well, or enough. Maybe it could float a little bit more. And when I built this, I used the wire so that I could adjust the wheelbase really easy, because I was afraid of not getting the stance right and the wheelbase correct. Like I can see things here, like I should trim this brass, but it's probably not going to happen. And so I left this on, and I was using this as a mount point, and I was getting all kinds of weird twisting with the body. So now it just rests on this body and controls the rear height. But I'm wondering if your thoughts, those of you who've built chassis, it just rides on that rear piece. You can see it's not attached. It just rides back and forth. Am I better served just to cut that off? Because the only thing that's doing is really controlling the ride height of the rear of the car. But because I've got 4 screws, because what I tried to do was mount it here and then just use 2 front screws, and the car the body wouldn't stay straight, and I'd messed something up in the way this is bent, and it was causing the chassis to twist. And I'm still having some chassis twist problems, and I'm trying to decide if it's this piece, and would I just be better off just to go ahead and cut that flush and eliminate it touching the body. I'm trying to decide if that's limiting it. So, but there they are, our 2 cars that are headed to, or 3 cars that are headed to the proxy. Those are going to go out tomorrow. I've got some other things I'm going to throw in the box. This is the Mad P printed this Maverick body, and the Showdown is in desperate need of another 1/32 scale option, and so I'm going to ship this in the box so that Shotgun, Dave, or Harry, if they would like, can make a mold off of that, and then whenever they're done at some point, I'll eventually get this back. But I think it would be awesome to have some other bodies. So I know not everybody loves a Maverick, but it would definitely make a great 1/32 scale Showdown car. So that's going to be in the box. I've got a couple other things I'm going to throw in there. Roast coffee. Excuse me. We'll probably make it in that box as well. So hopefully that'll help keep the guys awake while they are racing cars. So, but yeah, so there's the Showdown cars that are be heading out in the mail tomorrow, and hopefully they will perform well. So I'm going to take a peek at what's going on in the chat. Collection, thanks, man. I'm always learning something too. Every week. That's why we do this. Dave is in the house. The enabler. That's funny. Hey, Carlos. Hey, Cyberg. It reset me. Sorry, hold on. Let me catch back up. I'm not sure why I did that. Let's see here. Come to the Woodside, Marty. I'm getting tempted, George. Maybe I'll start with a test oval track, like what you got, so that we can tune these cars a little better. My opinion is any car that has parts to replace broken pieces and upgrades is a hobby level car or advanced user. Thanks. Yeah, George's track is a great looking track. Yeah. The better you get a car to perform, the more you will enjoy it. Revo slots are running and driving versions of Shelf Queens, born to put out on the track and enjoy the drive. That's right. Let's see here. What else do we have? Hey, Ben. Thanks for joining in. Hey, Chris. Hey, Slot Card Dojo. Dude, awesome job on the Three Amigos figures. Those were awesome. Couldn't happen to better people. Pat, can't really comment at work, bloody hell, but I'm listening. Pat, thanks for tuning in, brother. Great stuff. I really enjoyed your videos. Keep up the good work. And my buddy John Mark would enjoy your trains as well, all on the same layout. That's how his layout is. He has his slot car track, and then his train is on the outside of it, and it works great. Alan, let's see the 125th chassis body off. I need to steal your ideas. Alan, I think I have your phone number. I can send you some pictures. I don't know how well it really performs. We'll find out once Harry and the guys get the car on the track to see if what I did works. It should have a little bit of flex, is what I'm hoping, but I don't know. I think the fact that that bar rides on the body is going to limit that. Hey, Tom. I probably can throw it on the test track. It's a real long walk around the Starliner. Yes, in real life it is. That's a big, big boat of a car. Yes, Greg, you do. I appreciate it. Hey, grandson of man, welcome. Yeah, man, my brother did an awesome job. It's a great, great car, and it runs really good too. Oh wait, that's right. It wasn't the slot car corner kit. You had bought everything you needed. Where the axle box may be the workbench, the Omni box is more like a formal dining room table. That's a great analogy. Hey, Todd, welcome. Welcome. Thanks, Phil. Not a digital dude, just an observation. It's been a while since we ran digital. Adding weight helps keep them from tipping. Yeah, I think Dusty's probably is a little better on the track than mine at the moment. But I'm done. I don't know what else I can do to make it run better. So we're just going to go with it. Let's see here. Monty, you went with the Omni. You didn't make a mistake. It's a great box. No drama. Thanks. Yeah, I wish the decals popped a little more, but not going to complain. Thanks, Tad. Thanks, Tim. John, SummerSlam slot sale this Saturday, Ontario, Canada. Oh, you got a show? I think, did I see an advertisement for that on Dave Kennedy's channel maybe? That's fair. The Omni will let you run really old stuff with ancient hand-built motors that draw tens of amps as well. Yeah, it definitely will handle the power. Yeah, the floor shine does pretty good. It's not perfect, but it wasn't perfect before I put it on there either. So, and the car has already had some crashes. There's already some scratches, and I've already had to touch up the paint, and there's some scuffs on the bumpers, and yeah, it's all good. Tim, I made my decals. I ordered some clear and white decal paper for laser printers, and I printed them on a laser printer. I think an inkjet printer might do better, a little more opaque, but they're a little bit transparent, and so that's why the gray changed the red to like a dark red, burgundy almost. Roast the competition. Yeah, we'll see, Tad. Any acrylic clear? Okay. I had so many problems painting the Jake Dyke Special. I re-decaled that thing like 10 times. Felt like it. Yeah, I'm just not set up for that yet. And yeah, Dusty, he bought his online. Yes, it will make it less loose. Air shocks. That's right. Yeah, Mark, I'm just trying to decide if it's helping me or hurting me. Because I don't know. Danny, it's awesome. Dusty and I were talking about the body last night when he was over. Yeah, the Porsche body is awesome. It will get built. It will get built for sure. The thing is it might end up being the same gray, because if I owned one of those in real life, that's the color it would be. Yeah, Mark, it is airbrush applied. George had a great video, and so did Shotgun Dave, about that clear. It's nice. Yeah, Steve, we're probably going to need a little bit of luck, but it was a fun build. Oh yeah, we'll make a nice little car out of it. Yeah, Alan, I'm super pleased with how it turned out. And once I figured out the soldering, like I think I'm in good shape now. You could unhook the back one and see if you see a twist in the rear extensions, then you could make a logical decision on what you need to do. Yeah, I think that's part of my problem. I think there is a little bit of a twist in it, and I think it's causing the. I don't know. Sometimes I pick the car up and the front wheels are on the track, and then sometimes I pick it up off the track and the passenger side is half a millimeter off the track. And so I feel like the chassis is twisting a little bit. Rust. You see what happens? I take a week. Oh, that's right. Marty reclaims enabler position 1 as my Great Tradition shopping cart fills with fly Audi. Yeah, sorry about that. You can put a small level across the two bars to see if they're level or not. Yeah, that's a good idea, Robert. Let's see here. Yeah, Alan, no problem. I wouldn't know. I'm snowblind from trying to see it. Yeah, I got the joke. Yeah, Dusty's car's white. Daryl loves it. It's his favorite. Jeff G. Marty, I built the same Galaxy and found that specific body to be on the heavy side. It required more weight than my Impala build. Yeah, Jeff. The body is pretty thick. It was pretty weighty. I forget. I weighed it earlier. It's like 38 grams just by itself. There you go, Alan. Yeah, jump on it. First car. Yeah, I the gray turned out okay. I just wish the decals popped a little bit more. Let's see, what time is it? 8:53. Let's see. Greg, 57 Chevy, 2-door post, 62 Biscayne, $125. Yeah. Shoo. Let's get John Albright, first car. The Galaxy was your first car? I would love to own a 63 Galaxy. I've already talked about that. My car is 210 grams, I think. Dusty's is right there, about the same. So we're just a touch heavier. Yeah, Dusty's is 209. I'm, and maybe that'll be something I do once I get it back, or I'll turn George and Harry and Dave loose on it. Although they've got so many cars, they're not going to have time to do anything like that. Sure, you can jump on and we can talk about it whenever you want. Although, hang on, I don't have headphones. I'll need to throw headphones on. Gladstone, on my scratch builds, I put the 8152 inside and 8153 for the main rail. That gives me variable wheelbase for eventual repurpose on other bodies. Yeah, that's sort of what I did with this Gladstone, but I used the wire inside the brass, and I'm not sure how well that's going to work in the long run. But George, I'll be right with you. Let me go grab my headphones. Here we go. Check 1, 2. All right. Now if I don't kill myself, I'll go back on my. So let's see what we got. Gladstone. Let's bring George in. George.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. So everybody else
Okay,
should be here
good.
too.
Well, everybody else can hear me.
Hey, welcome to the
Nope.
live stream. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, any questions anybody needs to ask? Because I know everybody will watch more of your live than what I do on Monday. So if anybody has missed any questions from that, because people were asking about it, we were talking about it a little
Yeah,
bit.
so if you guys have any questions about how the race will be run or anything about the race, especially if you're submitting a car or you've already submitted a car. But like I think Harry had mentioned earlier in the chat that you won't be live streaming the whole thing, but there'll be segments of it that you live stream, and then there'll be videos that you release during the weekend. So when's it start, and like does it run through the whole weekend or?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start early. So reason why I'm going to start early, I'm going to be doing things early, and I'm going to do it through. I'm going to do a live on Monday there from my channel, and then the rest will be on HRW, and it may go back and forth depending. Harry has Ecamm now, so he's got it set up so we could do a lot more angles of the track than before. Whereas last year, I think I did a lot of like small videos, and then we just had his camera on one end of the track. We can't do the whole thing live because that would get very boring, because then you'd be sitting there and we'd be just, eating.
Right.
So, that's not
Yep.
a thing. We'll do the food videos that he does, and I will, but it'd be kind of boring to be having it on 24/7, because that'd be kind of weird. So.
Yeah. And so this is the following weekend, not this coming weekend, but the next, and you're going out on Monday?
Yeah, so I'm leaving not this weekend, but Monday the 15th. I'll be driving.
Okay.
So it'll take about 12 hours, though you do gain an hour when you go there. So 11 hours,
Yeah.
11 and a half hours. So I'll be driving to there. And when I get out, of course, I'm going to have a huge meal. So I'll have to eat. This area is, as soon as you get there, he throws like a 20,000-pound steak at you, like the Flintstones. So it'll be like on the side of my car, and brontosaurus steak or something, and we'll eat and chat a little, and we'll also do a live, and we'll kind of start rolling things on my channel from there. And then we'll do like rundowns of the cars. I'm going to try and get individual cars and do individual segments of it as much as I can, because people do like to see their car presented. We can take a look at the chassis and talk about it. There are a lot of cars there. I predicted about 50 or more, and I think I'm about right. I think by the time everybody gets there, including mine, it's going to be well over. That's just land barges, 50 land barges.
That's
And then
that's crazy.
include the zipper tops, because now the zipper tops may be more. And then you have the regular showdown cars that we always have, and the modifieds, the strangely modified. So those are the.
Yeah, I know. I've got all kinds of people sending me. Are we back? Check 1, 2. Can you hear me, George?
Fuck.
You got me? Hello? 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 It says that I'm live, that I'm back.
Oh, we
Are you
back?
back? You got me? Can you hear me?
I think we got it back.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, so it looks like my stream crashed. Ecamm recovered nicely, but I don't know what caused it. So it's not you. It's not you, George. It's me. George. Can you hear me now? George. Hey, let me know in the chat if you guys can, if I'm back. Let me know if I am back. George has left the chat. He's gone. George, if you hear me, jump back in. Thanks, Jim. Yep, I'm back. So I don't know what caused the crash, but it's fixed now. Thanks, Doug. Aliens got George. Well, I think George thought it was him, but it wasn't. It was me. My computer ran out of resources, and it needed to restart. Not the computer, the Ecamm Live. So there's George. George is back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
It was on my side, George.
I was thinking it was mine. That's why I was going to maybe reduce cameras, but then I saw you were frozen.
No,
sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry, guys. It was me. It looks like, so Ecamm. It looks like Ecamm is running a copy that's on an external drive, and when I reached over to grab something, the drive disconnected, and it caused the stream to crash. And when I plugged it back in, it came back, but it caused problems. So anyway, my fault.
Let's get back to where we were.
That's right. Mad P says it was aliens, so aliens got you.
Of course, everybody says that when it happens whenever I was.
George got beamed up.
It took me for a ride to Provney or some crap like that.
So you froze in the beginning of your podcast. Okay. Was that earlier, Daryl? So that makes me wonder. I'll have to figure that out. What I really need is a new computer. So that's a lot of cars. So compared to the last time the proxy ran in January, that's probably double the cars that were shipped in for that.
Yeah, and Harry was sort of by himself, because I don't go in the winter because I have to go through the mountains, and I don't have 4x4. And
right.
Going through Virginia or West Virginia, or if I go through Tennessee or the Smoky Mountains, it's something that I don't think I want to be dealing with. So that's why I don't go. The first time I went was a Labor Day. He does a fun run on a Labor Day event. That's kind of like an impromptu event, not an official one. So, and then the last one I went to, we had a lot of hot rods, which was last summer. That was a real good turnout. Yeah. So, but I think this is a good one because land barges are pretty. We brought them back because they're pretty. There's a lot of things you could do out there with them. Like I said, Google's your best friend. If you look at Google, when I did the introductory video, it's basically talking about the rules and what to look for, and, keep things, a little bit easier. And now with the Slot Car Corner kits, which they are going to offer, and they're going to offer something on the 125th scale kit, something different. So it'll be an alternative. I won't say much about it, but we'll wait till it comes out first. But it'll be good. It's a good, switch from what the normal kit is.
That's cool.
And just fixed it. So,
John Mark, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? There we go. That's what I did.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying.
Reading? No.
What I was reaching for was this body, and I was going to build a modified, and I just kind of ran out of time.
It takes a little bit. Making a mod is not hard as you think. A lot of people look at those, and they're actually a lot simpler than anything, to be honest, because the chassis are easy. Because if you put some wire, piano wire in a motor bracket and put a guide tongue on it, and then make Nerf bars, you could even put them on the body. Right. Like I did with mine. I put the Nerf bars on the body, drilled holes. And you got yourself a Showdown car and just put a little motor on there. I mean, the headers you can make out of solder because they're flexible, and you put the round 8129 tube on the end of it like I did, and it looks like collectors. It's not really hard. Yeah. It's a very simple car, but a lot of people don't look at that because they think it's more intricate, and it's really not.
Yeah. Well, I plan to do one, so I've got the body. I'm ready for the next proxy, and I'll make one for the next one, the next time around.
All right, cool.
So we're sending 3 cars in. I feel pretty good about that.
No, it's fine. They both look good. Your question on the on that bar.
Yeah, the bracket.
If the car handles fine, does the car handle good?
Yeah, it handles pretty good. I do notice if I drive it hard into the corner, it will tip a little bit. But I was trying to decide if that was the body limiting the chassis from flexing a little bit. because when I run the chassis without the body, now again, I know it's lighter and they always perform better without the body on them. Like that chassis screams without the body. Like it runs 5.2s on my big track, and like that's quick. That's keeping up with NSRs with just that chassis. So which I don't know if I what I hate to do is cut it off and then it performs worse.
I would leave it. Let us determine if it doesn't. I think it
Yeah.
won't. You could loosen body screws more. So on my mod, or excuse me, my Showdown card, that 57 Chevy you saw,
Yeah.
I have a bar running to the back of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything.
Doesn't
It
do
doesn't. I mean, I have body float, and it doesn't really affect it. I mean, it's not hindering the body from. If you had it attached, then I would think it'd be an issue. But I think you'll be all right.
It was attached and it was causing problems.
Yeah.
So then I took the clip off, and now it just kind of floats and rests on that body mount, like the original body mount for the.
Yeah, and that's fine. I don't think it'll be a big deal.
Yeah.
Remember, we're running in an oval, so you're not going to have, like I tried running my land barge on the track behind me here, and it just tips over the corner and rolls like a turtle. It's not really. I mean, it's a big car. If you take a big Cadillac and try and take a corner like that, you're going to get a lot of roll too.
Right.
It's just not, not really designed. It's more for an oval track. So when we put it on the oval, it'll perform just fine. Because a lot of the cars you put on there and how we kind of have everything set up, it'll do fine.
Yeah,
it can be a problem.
Dusty's car is real smooth. It's quiet, smooth. I think it'll do really well. It seems to get a little more grip than mine does on the Carrera track, but I'm hoping that the painted wood track will compensate a little bit for me. And I'll
remember to clean your tires. With urethane, you got to clean them.
Yeah.
And after like about session of rounding about, we always clean the tires because they will get a little dirty.
Yeah.
And then when you clean them up, it's like clean tires, happy tires. Always we say.
Right.
And they run fine. They grip more and handle better. Weight on the bottom of the car does help. If you could put any weight on there, I'd recommend it because it'll keep it from tipping too. I had to do that with the Impala. I put a lot of weight on it, and that really stabilized the car more, going in the corners, so it doesn't just go bloop, real easily when you push it hard.
Yeah, but Michael says that it will handle better than the tight corners on my Carrera test track. I'm curious, the inside, I wonder what the radius is on that inside turn on Harry's track is.
It's the same as mine. I can't remember it, but when so that's a shorter lane, so you're gonna go around the track a little faster, or the tires will be different. But it won't be a big deal. The thing is with these cars, when you get them side by side or in the corners, is when you get contact.
Oh yeah, because
that's the whole idea of that. So anybody who's sending a car, be aware it can get damaged, but when it does,
it's all right.
It's officially called a hammer. Remember
that's
that.
Right.
Because we had one guy, I think I think it was a year ago or a year before that. His car looked beautiful, and it got tore up. I mean, it really got tore up. I think it was the most beat up car, and I mean, got hit, hit into the wall. I mean, it's combat. It's going to get.
Yeah.
Don't.
And his lane spacing is 4 inches or 4.5.
No, it's like mine, 4.5. I think 4.5 or 4. 4.5.
Yeah.
I think it's the same
Carrera
spacing
is,
as
yeah, Carrera is 4.
4. Okay, 4. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
4
so that's with 2 land barges. That's pretty tight. That's pretty tight.
When you put them next to each other, it's like about this much space. Yeah. So I mean, it's
rubbing is racing.
Yeah, and it makes it fun because you get a lot of action, and that's the whole idea of oval racing. Oval racing was supposed to promote pack racing, close quarters racing, and high speed.
Yeah.
So it's not like a road course. It's different. That's the traditional, the influences of oval track racing.
Michael says that I might end up with some pink paint on mine. That's okay, Michael. That's character marks.
It's a lot of fun when they do wreck. I mean, you have to admit it. It's like, like my Alien hot rod, it actually hit another tire, and it's on video, and it launched, and it didn't break the car. I was surprised. It launched and it fell over, but open wheel cars, that's another one. When you get that contact, I mean, they go zinging.
Yeah.
go zing in the air and they're gone. So,
So
but yeah,
I was running some test laps and I was getting in a really good groove. And like I was getting the time down 2.4, 2.4, 2.3, 2.3, and then all of a sudden it launched off. It just bounced out of the slot and launched off the end. And so now I've got scrape here. Had to fix a ding on the top. The front bumper's got some chrome rubbed off on it. Yeah, it's already got scars. It's showing up with scars. It won't be an official hammer. It won't be an official hammer until it happens at Harry's. But
yeah, that's why you got to make sure you always use epoxy on your bumpers and stuff because they will get ejected. That's why we say you use a screw for the driver.
Yeah.
Because I made that mistake early on when I did my first land barge, and Harry called me. He goes, the driver popped out, and he showed me on video. Next time, just drill a hole to put a screw. If you glue it, it just it flexes and pops out. So just in case
we got that, and I used the I think it was your recommendation, the 5-minute epoxy.
The Bob's stuff. Yeah,
and it did a nice
job. It works
quickly. Yeah, and I used it for the bumpers, the front and the rear. I used it for a couple of other things too. It just did a nice job. Yeah.
And I see you did the guide on the video that you did on that.
Yeah, I just followed your video and I used a slot invasion guide.
I like that guide a lot more than the commercial track one. I think the commercial track one's a little bit bulky. Yeah. I think sometimes it may cause problems. Like I have it on the Impala, and I'm kind of floating to changing that when I get to Harry's, but I don't know. I may just leave it. Yeah. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to make sure there's going to be a lot of video documentation of everything for everyone on everyone's car. So that's going to be a lot of work. Dave will be there to help. So we have a lot of ideas and we're spinning.
Yeah.
But as we're seeing more vehicles go in, as you got yours are coming, and some other people that have popped up that first time builders that we don't know have also sent stuff in, and it's like, wow, it's cool. That's what we want. We want people to get involved, and that's what makes it fun. You made that point of like when a proxy, you don't want to get into it because they got rules and this and that. The whole idea of the Home Racing World car events is that we keep everything simple as possible, and we keep it to where it's all equal. And then the most important factor is that it's fun, because when you rip all the fun out of it, that's when nobody wants to do nothing. So I want to make sure those are the main goals of doing those proxies.
Yeah, Jeff G says, "Yeah, screw your driver." Jerry, you're right. The concrete canyon is not forgiving. It bounced off the wall, scraped down the wall, and then bounced off the concrete floor. Yeah, it was bad. It was one of those. It was an oh crap moment. I was like, oh man, and then I had to put a wall up after that. So now there's a big board protecting it from flying off the corner.
At HRW, we call it Hurt Falls, Missouri, when it hits the concrete, which my car has done that. So, yeah. Hurt Falls, Missouri.
Hey, 66 Slaughter, welcome, man. John says, I prefer my driver unscrewed. Thank you. That's funny. My bench racer has so many badges, it should be a general. No Shelf Queens, welcome. Good to have you. Your first time. Welcome from Australia. Yeah, thanks for joining us tonight.
We really appreciate all the guys that are coming from Australia too. That you're getting involved in the chat.
There's a big crowd from Australia. England. Yep. Yeah. And I know that like for the guys in the UK, they're up late, man. I always feel bad. Yeah. But I think the 8 p.m. Eastern time slot just works so well for most everybody else, but our friends in the UK.
Yeah, different time zone. We appreciate them joining.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's great, and they always add so much too. And Pat is listening from work, and he's down under, and so those guys it's during the day for them tomorrow. But no Shelf Queens. That's a great name. I like that. My 62 pickup hit the cement the other night. Yeah, Greg, they can do some damage too, especially when they weigh 209 grams. Like that's a heavy car. That's a lot of weight bouncing off the concrete.
You remember the photo I showed you of the black the black Victoria,
Yeah.
the Ford that I sent in. That's pretty amazing how he was able to straighten that out.
Yeah.
That was I thought he was so kind of like bummed about it when he called me. I was like, yeah, I'll build another one. I'll just put another body on it. He actually heated that up and
Yeah.
popped it back, and it looked like nothing ever happened to it. So I was like pretty
It's impressive.
shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it took a lot of work to do that. So
Very good. Well, enjoy your day off. Let's see, John D, 11:18 a.m. in most of Australia. There you go. That gives us some point of reference. Well, that's the one thing this live stream has taught me is like what time it is in a lot of places that I didn't know before. And so when I'm talking to somebody and I realize that it's 3:00 in the morning for them, I was like, I am so sorry. We're still up talking, but yeah, I'm excited to see how these cars perform. I can't wait to see these preview videos that Harry's been doing with all the cars as they get shipped in is really a lot of fun. And you can genuinely tell that he is enjoying every second of it. You know what I mean? Like he loves opening the boxes and seeing what people have, and appreciates the work that goes into building a scratch build car. It's just a whole different rabbit hole in the hobby. And we know that it's not for everyone. Dusty last night was like, I didn't love the model building, but I loved building the chassis. And so, you know what I mean? Like he enjoyed the soldering and building the chassis and the engineering piece of it, but he didn't love the model until it was done. And then he was like, okay, it looks really good.
Well, the feeling you get is when he has he run it around the track yet?
Oh yeah. I made him run a bunch of laps last night to get it run in.
That's the gratification. When you pull the trigger and you see it go down the track, you're like, well, wow, I created that. And that's the feeling that I got on my first one.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. That's what really kind of, stuck with me a lot, the first car I did, because it's like, I actually created that, it's something that you can't really buy. That's the whole point of it. You want to make the Maverick. You want to make cars that, obviously
right.
European people are not going to give a crap about.
Right.
They're going to give a crap about a 2004 GTO or a freaking Ford pickup or a Bronco that, you could do that. It's possible. That's what makes it, more gratifying because it's beautiful. Just like the truck and trailer Tad built and, Dave's pickup truck and the trailer with the midget. So those midgets, that's another thing that I have two bodies to do that. So I have to get the parts and put it together because it's certain wheels that we're going to use. So I want to see if I can include that in Midget Madness just on the side, some small ones.
Yeah.
Just to start out with. And if we do that, then maybe we'll add them as part of another, class if people are interested. Because those are really super easy to build. It's just two pieces of brass, the motor bracket, and a tongue. And the body itself, it comes with just a driver head, how Dave's been making them. And maybe we could see if we could, when I get more into 3D printing, if I could make some 3D printed, midget bodies, which I'm looking forward to doing. That's really why I want to get into the 3D printing when I get back from there.
Yeah. Robert asked, what's the average amount of cars shipped for the race? I'm not sure.
Let's see. I think the last year I was there, I would say I have a good 60 cars.
Yeah.
It was a lot because you have to package everything. So Harry gets these boxes. He goes to the post office. And so where he lives, he has a physical address, but there's no mailboxes at the physical homes because the town he lives in is really tiny.
Yeah.
It's super tiny. You go downtown, it's like 5 minutes, you already walk downtown. Everybody knows everybody. And so you have to go to the main post office to pick everything up, which isn't far from where he lives. And then he grabs all these boxes, and we have a ton of boxes. And then you have to pull the cars out and make sure you put everything back in the box, the packaging, and put them off to the side. The hard part is also getting everything organized, which I've done with him. So we have a lot of door prizes where we have from, I think LEB is contributing this year, and SCC, of course, always does every year. And now we have to get the cars when the event is done, like on Sunday, and start right away.
Yeah.
We got to get, so-and-so's cars over here and get his box, put it on the table, get these cars, get his box, get all this stuff. It's a lot of work. A lot of people don't realize it takes a lot, so we need to be there. When Harry does it by himself, it takes him a little bit of time, but when having more people, more hands, it makes it easier.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And then he has to look at the address to make sure it's going to the right place. Because it'll type it up in Google or in the maps, and it'll make sure that that's the physical address that's valid. Because sometimes it doesn't come up, and we're kind of worried. Well, we don't want this to get stuck in the mail system and go swirling
Right.
around to Zimbabwe or something like that.
Yep.
Wherever the hell it's going to go. And so it takes a lot of time and effort to do that.
Yeah.
That part is a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize it.
Yeah, but he wouldn't do it if he didn't enjoy the whole thing, right? I think that's what's
he
really
enjoys.
cool.
He really likes. I'm not saying he doesn't like everything, but the ones that really kind of really go wow are the people that really leave a sheet like what you did with the Jake Dyke car. This was an actual car that raced. There's a history to it. Right. And I did a reproduction of the car. Those are real cool when you add stories. Or a car that, like Tad did his pickup truck. Yeah. That, I can't remember who had it, his father or him, a long time ago. Cars you remember from back then, like you're building the Maverick.
Right.
Things like that. And then you write a paper about it. Those are pretty cool. Those he really likes. And first-time builders. Yeah. He always really cherishes first-time builders that send the car because they've made the attempt.
Right.
And they're there. That's the cool part.
That's right. Yeah. It's easy to talk about it. It's a lot harder to put it into action and make it happen. But I will tell you, like the satisfaction that you get driving your own car that you built, like that's satisfying. What was really satisfying for me was when I saw them race it on the live stream, and they ran it for a handful of laps and threw the time up there, and I was like, okay, somebody else got to enjoy something that I built. It probably wasn't the fastest car, but it went around the track and somebody got enjoyment out of that. That really meant a lot to me. So that's why
there's one thing I hope that he brings back, and if you look in the old videos on the HRW channel, is called the trailer racing. That looks like a lot of fun. So the trailer races, which we kicked around, was basically you towing, stock car towing a trailer of a theme thing, whatever it can be. And there was some theme things they had that I can't really mention on the live.
Yeah, right. Sure. I'm sure.
Because, drinking ages of that time when, but it's different. And, political, all that was different at the time. But they did trailer-themed trailers, and basically they raced them around and they got trashed. It didn't matter if they got destroyed. The whole point was to move it around and get banged up. Things would fly off of it and get in the track. The cars would crash. That right there is a lot of fun. And I think the Bombers in Chicago were the ones I don't know if they're the ones to start that. If I'm wrong, if Dave or Harry's here because they have the history on that. But watching those, and I mean, it's just your belly's aching when you see that stuff because it's so hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can pick up any theme on the trailer and then just race it, and whatever happens to it. And that's one thing I'd like to see happen. But you can imagine if everybody does that, how many trailers would come in, and then it would take a long time, But I think it's kind of like I don't know if they really want to do it because it's just it'd be a lot of people if they enter, But it'd be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, Tad says bring back the trailer races. That's funny. That's good stuff. Well, Greg mentioned, throw it back up there, please feel free to offer any advice or critique to improve the way mine is built. I think, Greg, what you'll find is just watching it in the live stream run and then comparing the times that it runs against all the other things. Like watching the Jake Dyke, knowing what it ran, I kind of know how this will perform, sort of, based on comparing it to what it does on my track. And so it gave me a reference point. And so that's the big thing, Greg, is you'll watch your car and it'll give you a reference point for the next time. So then you can kind of say, okay, I built the car this way. This is how it reacted on my track when I tested it. This is what it did on Harry's track. Okay, I have a better idea of how I might be able to get that car to perform a little better. And so, I mean, I'm sure George would offer, and Dave and Harry would offer whatever they can. They're going to, like what Harry sent me earlier, they're going to do a once over. That's why this proxy is not the easiest thing to put on. Every car that comes in, like they were already working on Danny's because it didn't have enough body float. So they want to make sure that it performs its best for the race. And so they will help you out, Greg.
anything that we come up with, we're not going to announce on the live. Like, hey, you should have done. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And, because I don't want. It's not like I'm trying to make people look stupid. That's the last thing I would want. So I would message them privately and tell them, hey, this is what I did. I had to adjust this. I did have a midget madness. A few things I need to adjust to kind of unsolder and resolder because something wasn't right, which I'm happy to do. Uh, if any gear gets stripped or something like that, that's something we could fix, or if something gets broken off and we could resolder to get it back, so we'll do that. But if something's really far gone that we can't do, so we'll just set it aside. But you need to tell you personally, yeah, it was, something. But I really don't think that'll be a problem. The most common thing are strip gears. Even I've gone through that. Make sure your gear mesh. I did a video on gear mesh and explained that because when you put it in and you hear that car run, that gear noise is really a telltale of where it's really binding, or if it's noisy or too noisy, or just doesn't have enough movement. You gotta want a little bit of movement, not completely tight, because that's gonna really put a lot of heat on the motor and it's gonna make the car struggle. You want it to be free flowing, and when you test your cars, let off the trigger and see how they roll. If they roll at a nice stop, or if they stop abruptly, depending if you have your controllers what you have it set at. But you want it to be somewhat, smooth, and you want it to sound to where the gear sounds like they're in harmony and not struggling, too loose or too tight. So, but that's usually the common thing is the gears get stripped.
Yeah, I will tell you, mine rolls. You're going to need some brake. It doesn't have running on the digital track in analog mode with the tech slot box. It has zero brake. Like it just wants to, like, I can floor it and it'll roll all the way around the he just doesn't have a lot of brake. Now when I put it on
you have very little resistance, and that's actually a good thing, because I mean that means all the axles are straight, and then you spin the wheels, they run nicely in the front, they spin freely, which is like we do with all the other stock cars that we mess with from NSR. You want them to spin nicely, but
tuning is tuning.
We'll take care of what we need to take care of. We have a lot of parts. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's all good. We try and make it fun and make sure your car is there to compete.
So the key word in Dusty's sentence is on the next one. So he's already planning the next one. So that's a good sign.
Well, I'll tell you guys personally if I see anything. I mean, but otherwise the chassis look good. And a lot of things is that it's the soldering. Sometimes it'll say you got to make sure you have a lot of heat and have patience to keep heat on it. That's kind of the key thing.
Yeah.
A lot of these things, people think that, you're going to put it on and it's going to melt instantly. Well, you have to heat the material around you that you're soldering to. So you got to wait for the brass to get hot, the wire to get hot. And then when everything gets hot, that's when that flux start working. And when you see it just stream, flow like a river and nice and shiny, then you have a good solder. Yeah. And you have to be patient for that. That takes a while. And then you have to have your iron, like I said, that 800 and 850 is really ideal where you want it.
Yeah.
And you want a good wattage too.
Well, just so it recovers and continues to put heat on it. What I was running into is my iron would heat up and it would hold solder, and as soon as I touched the brass, it would cool off so fast, and then it just couldn't recover fast enough, right, to keep the solder flowing. And so now I've talked to you a lot about it. I talked to Shotgun Dave a lot about it. Michael Squire sent me a great video. Rob sent me a great video and gave me some pointers. And between all of that information, it really helped me understand what I was looking for, how the solder should react. And it came down to it was not holding heat well enough. The brass wasn't, because it was taking too much time for the iron to recover. And so that's why you need that wattage. Yeah. So that it can stay consistent. That's a big thing.
I have one. I used the first ones I used was the one from Amazon. Then I bought something called the Ultimate Iron. I can't find it anymore, but I've seen some on Amazon that looks similar. Mine's called the Shine Now. That thing really pumps out a lot of heat, and it does it really quick.
Yep.
And it's the iron I've used for everything. It's still with me. I've had it for 3 years now.
Yeah,
I've been using it for 3 years, and I want to get some more irons to test from Amazon. Like, they do have one similar to what I have. It's a flat box one. It has a dial. I want to get one and try it out and see how good it is, so I can kind of recommend that one if anybody's interested in that, because they have a lot of different ones on Amazon and they look good in price, but how they perform, you don't know. You're going to find out, because
Yeah, I went with one that was a little higher wattage, the Xtronic, versus a couple of others that were about, I don't know, $5 or $10 cheaper, and I'm glad that I went with that. Yeah, it was the right choice. So
Make sure you also got thin soldering.
yeah,
Not the fat stuff.
right. Yeah, and the one I bought came with a reel or a spool of solder that was perfect. It was actually better than the solder I was using before.
Yeah,
And
that
then
thick stuff is so tough.
and then I don't see it. Oh, it's over here. I got a bottle of the Stay Clean, and that was a nice upgrade. That flux does a great job.
It does a good job. Always remember wash your chassis when you're done, because all that residue will get on your wires and start corroding stuff. It'll make the green stuff go. I had that happen. I'm like, gosh damn it, how this? And then I realized I wasn't.
It wasn't cleaning it well enough. Yeah. Tim, looking forward to watching this. Tim, I'm sure after you watch it, you'll be ready to build one. B2
it's not hard.
Where would I get more information about racing these events in the future? Rules, dates, and times. I'd like to get up to speed on this. Thank you. B2. Somebody will put a link in the chat. Home Racing World. There is tons of information about this, about chassis building, about scratch building. There's tons of information out there. George and Dave and Harry and Michael Squire. There's a bunch of guys, Tad, that have build videos out there to watch. But there's so much information right there in the Home Racing World forums.
If one of you guys could post like the showdown rules for like this year, so you can get an idea. If you go to Area 51 YouTube page, on the very front page, there's the land barge rules. If you go in there, there's a link to the land barge. And then on the main site, if anybody could post that, the HRW main site, there's a section on the top where they have a list of things that says scratch building. You click that, that'll have everybody's videos that have done scratch building. It's all been categorized together so that people will usually ask me, well, hey, where's this video for this? That's, well, here, just go to this. It's in one place. And there's everybody's stuff on there. Dave's, Harry's, mine, Michael Squire, Tad's, and whoever builds a chassis on camera and posts it, then I will put that in there as well. Because, I think right now we're the only ones that do it. I don't think anybody else has posted it on building a chassis. I think you have also, Marty, I think.
Yeah, it's not quite a instructional. It was just kind of like watching me solder and make a fool of myself soldering on camera. But I'm looking for that. What video did you tie that to? Did you say?
Oh, for HRW?
Yeah.
It's under scratch. So when you go to the forum board?
Yeah.
Where it says HRW main site? You click that.
HRW.
We're on the Home Racing World.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the. Looks like the barges right there. That's the barge rules. So those are the land barge rules. It explains the rules and everything.
Dusty just put them out there. Great, thanks, Dust.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you, for the scratch building section on the HRW main site, there's they have all the little headers on what different categories. Right there, it's a scratch building. You click that, it goes all the scratch building stuff. Makes it easier. So.
Yeah, Tim, I will tell you, like my first car, it was a little tough to get through the first time, but then the satisfaction came when I saw it being raced, and so that made the second car so much easier, the process. And you can look at the quality, my finished quality, car one versus car two, and it's so much better. Like even the modeling was so much better. I learned so much on that first car. So sometimes you just got to get through
Jerry
one or two. Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, TNT.
Yeah, well done.
I think what people get really hung up on scratching is that if they try one of these events, they're afraid it's not going to handle well in this. So do this. Build a car for yourself for your track. Try it out that way. This way you could build something that you could for yourself and then see how it works out, because it isn't for everybody. I know not a lot of people don't like to solder. I know the guys from Slot Car Addicts in North Carolina, they don't want to scratch build. what they told me is that it's a lot of work and I don't feel like doing that. They'd rather deal with, factory cars and,
Right.
dealing with that, which is fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's for some people and it's not for some people. I have my qualms and I don't like to do like the only proxy race I do is this stuff. I don't
Right.
like sending my cars to Canada or some stuff like that. The only one that did interest me, which I have been involved in, is the crap car proxy
Yeah.
because there's no expectation of that. You send the crap car in. And that was kind of fun because it was cars. I had a Thunderbird that did wheelies, a 65 T-Bird. I thought that was funny. And I was playing with that and trying to race it. And it was fun because there's no expectations of the cars, the crap cars. And that's an interesting proxy. It's nice. So I want the fun factor in it. I don't, I'm not bagging anybody that does that, but I like it to be fun. I'd rather tune cars for my track and be happy with that. I don't like to go into, to other tracks like Electric Dreams or whatnot and do all that. To me, that's not fun.
Yeah.
I don't consider that fun. It's just me, but that's just me. So, I mean, if you like it, by all means do it.
Right.
I'm not going to keep you.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the hobby. That's what we talk about all the time. Is the beauty of the hobby is there's so many facets to it that there's room for everyone, and that's the beauty in it. Anthony, Patrick, thanks for tuning in. Slot Cars of Atlanta, welcome. I'm glad you're here tonight.
Cool.
We're about to wrap things up, talking about the land barge, but I know that was the biggest part of the subject. We'll move on to something different next week, but we're pretty excited about getting these cars done and getting them shipped off, and I can't wait to see them run on the track. So that's.
If you want to also do a live next week, because I'll be there. Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Sure, we don't have it your time, so that's why you're going to be on at 8. So. But,
whatever you need to do. That it'll be fun to watch. All the
if you guys want to see HRW headquarters, that is a place to see because it's stock car education. There's a lot of things in there there's a lot of cars that are in there that they used to build many years before social media, basically. Before scratch building materials were available through SCC like they are now. They used to do things a lot different, because there was nothing available. So you used what you had. And there was a lot of cool cars that were made too. That's why when we see the old cars, like the tanker builds, and I had 2 tanker cars that Robert Lee sent me, that was like another part of the, of the scratch building that it's like, wow, we should do those. And then we see another car. Oh, wow, we should do those. Oh, we need to do jalopies. There's just so many things that we could pick from. It's kind of hard. So that's why we try and add an extra event, side event like the Lamb Bargains.
Yeah, it gives everybody a chance to build something new, build something different.
So it makes it change it up. So next year will be something different. No Lamb Barge, will be something else. And that's what we end up doing after the show is, the event is over. We'll sit there and we'll think it will be the next one. And then we'll probably do an introductory video about it, the next day or that week. And then we go from there to another, thing. So.
Yeah, Tad says that he watched a bunch of your videos before he built his first one, that there weren't that many to watch compared to now. And I mean, I think that this is definitely a piece of the hobby that's growing in a segment, right? Probably here in the United States, mainly because of what you guys are doing at Home Racing World to promote it and have fun with it. But there's proxy races everywhere. Like, proxy racing is not something that, there's a ton of them out there. And a lot of them are listed at Home Racing World, but this one's unique, I think, and it's fun. Let's see. Michael Squire says, Anthony asked, when is the deadline? I think it's the 17th. It says in that link, Anthony, that Dusty posted, and about the showdown. So I would check there. Yeah, you'd have to build pretty quick. Not that you couldn't do it. When I sat down and started mine, I really start to finish was a couple of days, and I had it running around the track a couple evenings. And so once you get focused on it, it's not too bad. But yeah, Michael says build fast.
Soccer Atlanta is asking, what do you say? How hard is it to build a police car? Very easy with the amount of LED lights that are available.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the police car would be pretty easy. And there's lots of models. You can get the Monaco, right?
Yeah. Well, I did a Ghostbusters one. That was one of the first ones. So Evans Trains Design, the train hobby guys have a lot of that one place called Model Train Software.
Yeah.
They have a lot of LED lights, and they do have a police bar one if you want to look that up. It's called Evans Designs. Just Google search that, and it'll take you to all their LED lights, and they make LED lights the size of a pinhead, like a pinhead. Yeah. If you wanted to get an LED light that small, and I mean super small. So you can make a police car easily. There's a lot of kits, if you want to make the friggin' Blues Brother car, you could do that too if you wanted to.
Good night, Gary. Robert Lee says rat rods.
That was one thing that's come up. Dave would be good at doing a lot of that. He knows how to do those independent suspension. That's why when I see him, I want him to show me a few of those.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he built some nice stuff.
He's building one right now. It looks really cool.
Station wagon proxy. Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the land barges are fun builds. I've built about 6 of them now just to run on my own track. Yeah, Greg, I agree. This has been a fun build, but they're big cars. They will be fun to watch 4 wide. That will be a lot of fun.
A nice fun race. It'll be really cool. So we'll make sure we bring everything to the cameras.
Yeah. I think Greg. Greg said he's built 6 cars, but I think he had another question about. There hasn't been an announcement about the raffle yet.
Okay, the raffle, we won't do anything till I and Dave get there. So I get there Monday, Dave gets there Tuesday.
All right.
And we talked about that. Harry was going to do a video, but we want to get a lot of donation cars in there, so I'm going to donate a car. And then Harry's like, well, we'll just wait till you get here till we get our ducks in a row.
Yeah.
So just remember, and I really emphasize this on the raffle. The raffle is for whatever car we pull next. So example, if I have, whatever it is, whatever we're doing, it's going to be pulled out, and then we're going to pull the ticket. It's not for the individual car.
Right.
And I want to make sure people understand you could buy tickets for this car, or this car. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You buy a ticket, and whatever we pull out to raffle next, and whatever we pull out of the hat or whatnot, box, whatever it is, that's the car you get.
Yeah,
so I just want to make sure everybody understands that. So it gives a fair shot for everybody. Otherwise, everybody will want a certain car and all buy one ticket for one car. And we don't want that. And it all goes toward keeping the lights on the website. Running the website is done by another company they give us the software, and then they do the maintenance in the background, which is a lot of that techie stuff that I don't understand. Harry used to do encoding on his own. He showed me what he did before. And if you mess up one little line, it's all effed up.
Yep.
So I could imagine not even doing that. So they pay the people a lot to keep it on. It's a high amount.
Yeah.
And so that's why I donate, and then the cars help go to that, and that's what it goes to. It doesn't go to anything else. It goes to do those things. So
and I think you usually get a lot of support through the raffle, right? I mean, usually a lot of guys. Yeah.
Well, people want, if they could get a scratch built car, for free, that'd be cool. I know I donated one last year, the green 32 Ford, I think it was. Yeah. Somebody got it here in North Carolina. And so it's, whether they, took the body off, who cares? As long as they're happy with it and they're enjoying it, that's the whole point. But and then the car Lee Wright built is absolutely beautiful. That Ford Galaxy, I don't know, you saw that one?
Yeah. Yep.
That's a gorgeous car. Whoever wins that car is going to be, they're going to be love.
Oh yeah,
that's a nice car.
It's sweet.
The other ones that are coming are nice, but that one's very beautiful.
Well, they're all Michael Squires is sweet. That modified. It gets around the track too, man. Yeah. It's quick.
And you see a lot of people ask that, hey, can I get a ticket just for the modified? And it's like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah. No.
Because then it's just not going to work out that way. So
yeah, that's right. Slot Car of Atlanta. Marty, when I finish my track, I want a date on your channel to preview it. Well, reach out to me, man. Let me know. Yeah, we'd love to see.
Building a wood track is what he's doing?
Yeah, well, I don't. He's working on some kind of track. So I think I saw somebody called him Jamal. Is that right? If that's your real name, that's awesome. If you're building a wood track, even if you're not and you're building a career, we love to see new layouts. So yeah. Let me reach out to me. Robert Williams, where do you buy a ticket? After they announce it, they will tell you where you can find the tickets. Yeah.
We're gonna work on that immediately when Dave gets there. That's one thing I'm gonna bring up. Hey, why don't we get the raffle thing going? Because we get a lot of requests for that.
Right.
Might also start it early before we do the race. We got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to.
You guys have a busy week ahead of you. So Robert, I would just watch George's channel or Harry's channel, Home Racing World, or Shotgun Dave's. The raffle will get announced on one of those channels probably midweek. So, keep your eyes out for it. Can anybody buy a ticket, or do you have to be one of the cars entered? No, anybody can buy a ticket.
You can buy a ticket.
Yep, it's open to anybody, Robert. John D. Tuning Fly Cars talked about earlier. Sidewinder, easiest to tune. Front motor, shaft drive, so much harder. Fly. Pianos. John D., I would agree. Daryl said, I saw the post earlier and I ignored it because he said he was going to send me another Panos. And I have one of those that he sent me to tune, and it gets around the track okay, but man, that front wheel drive, I hate him. I don't love it. But the car looks great. I love the car. It's just that front wheel drive is a pain in the butt to try to tune. But they're tunable. You can make them happen. John Albright's got one that screams around the track. So, Robert Lee, my luck, I will win my own car back. All right, Jamal. Thanks, man. Yeah, reach out to me when your track's done.
If that happens, I think we would dump the ticket back in and redraw. Because I'm pretty sure that's what Harry, Dave, and I would do. It's like, no, we can't do that to Robert.
Oh, man. Well, George, thanks for jumping on, man. We went longer than normal, but that's okay. We had something great to talk about. So we're all excited about the proxy.
If you want to join next week, it's up to you. Let me know.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, man. I'm sure we will talk next week. Yeah. So I'll reach out and let you know what's going on. But yeah, my plan is to go live on Tuesday, and but I don't want to bump into anything you guys are doing. What you're doing out there is important, so it'll be fun.
Sure we'll clear channel for you. That's one thing I try and do after the little incident I got with somebody about Mondays. I didn't know he was doing Mondays. I don't watch HO channels. I mean, I honestly
it's all good, man.
Yeah, so I was like,
everybody's all over that.
It was Sunday with Dave Kennedy's. He went on at 4. I went on at like 3. So I told Dave, watch out. If he goes live, let me know and I'll get off because I know everybody goes his channel. So I was like, I try and not to step on anybody's toes or piss anybody off or steal their thunder. So yeah,
Jamal, don't worry about it being Carrera, man. That's what I've got. Great.
Yeah, we don't care about that.
Yep, we did not get.
That's what I was asking. Wood or plastic, it don't matter. I was on a plastic track for freaking 6 years, so
yeah.
I have no intention of selling it. It's upstairs underneath the wood. Why not keeping it? With all I invest in it, it's I can still use it.
George's channel is Area 51 Raceway, NC, right?
Yeah, Area 51 Raceway, NC.
Yeah. So.
There's a lot of stuff on there. I mean, there's 559 videos. That's including live. So, I mean,
that's awesome.
It's actually got a lot of crap on there. You could look at the real old videos when I played with, when I started playing with, the Carrera removing magnets and stuff and tuning cars without magnets and truing tires and me stupid enough truing silicone tires. That was really something like, that was a lot of work.
That's a job. There are people tell me that it's worth it. Steve Sweeney will swear that it's worth it. I'm sure it is.
Well, now we got truer. You got a new truer, right? You said.
Oh well, so I didn't even get to it tonight.
Talk about that real quick before you.
So the guy Knapp is his name. It's the Contour 2, the track cleaner that you push with the car. He developed that, and he has developed a tire cleaner truer, which is basically it snaps into your track and uses your track power. So it's basically a sanding. It's not station. Station. It's not a true truer like the Mid-America or some of the others, the Huddy or any of those. But it will work with 1/43rd scale, 1/32nd scale, and 1/25th to 24th scale cars. It has a rotating sanding disc, which is really nice. It's 3D printed. And then it's got a lock that it locks into your slot. So you just throw it on your track. It snaps in and locks. and you just throw your car. It's got a cushion for your car to rest on. I'm doing a video. He sent me the prototype that he's working on. I'm not spoiling the beans on anything. It's going to be $40, like $39.99, and for what it is, it's great. Like, I think for somebody who is a 1/43rd scale, a 1/32nd scale, even like it worked great on my land barge. He's made some changes because the 1/24 scale Carrera cars, like the DTM cars, they've got that long rear. It won't sit on that sandpaper disc, and then that flips out of the way, and there's a cleaning pad underneath of it, and you use it as a tire cleaner. So very convenient for the cost. It's great. Yeah, so it's a prototype. He's already made some changes based on some feedback that he's got this week. He reached out because I did a video on the track cleaner, and he reached out and said, "Hey, I'm sending you this. Let me know what you think and give me any feedback." And so I've been playing with it and testing it. And
it'd be good to suggest if you can make a mobile station too, because Harry's been making. If you've seen on the videos, he's been making some mobile stations.
Yeah,
which are really cool.
Those are pretty sweet. Yeah,
I think they're really convenient. You can hook a 9-volt battery to it. I mean, with the switch, that's even nicer. You don't need a power supply. You can just take it somewhere and just do it right there. Yeah. But that'd be a good idea to make a portable thing if you thought about that. Just make it portable.
Yeah, it's all good. Let's see. Never forget where you came from. I'd have to say most of us had plastic tracks. Yep, that's right.
That's where you start
Daniel,
anyway.
No worries. Yeah, we're getting ready to close up shop, Daniel. Welcome. Just in time to say goodbye. But George, man, thanks. I always appreciate when you come in. You become just such a good friend, friend of the channel and friend of mine. I really appreciate you, bro.
No problem. I do too.
Yeah, guys. Hey, P&W. Good evening, fellas. Just saw the notification. Hey, man. Thanks for joining. You're right at the end, but that's okay. Thanks for joining. That means a lot, bro. Thanks. Guys, have a great evening and go have fun racing. That's what George always says.
Yep.
Have fun racing. See ya.